Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. I cannot believe the NFL season is wrapping up. It has been an absolute crazy season as we will dive into this podcast. And I'm so excited to have Tattooed Simmer here today and Nardvillain, two of my NFL Simmer friends who can sit and talk about the NFL. So thank you both for coming here today.
Of course.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be talking about this. This is like my first year that I can actually kind of talk toe to toe instead of looking at Jason being like, "So who's that?" Um, I did not miss I only think I only missed like one or two red zones, but I very much enjoyed my football Sundays this year. But before we dive in, why don't we talk a little bit tell us a little about yourself and who your favorite teams are, and we'll start with Tattooed Simmer.
I'm Tattooed Simmer. I am born and raised in Kansas, so I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. We have been blessed the last few years, but it has not always been like that. When I was a kid, I can remember being like, 2-14 or, getting like the second draft pick and things like that. So, I remember my husband is very much a sports fan in general. Um, but I remember when the Chiefs picked Patrick Mahomes, my husband freaked out and he said, "This is going to be different." And I said, "It's one person." He said, "No, it's not." He said somebody different. And also, it was like a couple years before that when we got Andy Reid as the head coach, and like so, it's been good since then. But I remember when it used to be bad.
Well, again, like Patrick Mahomes, which we'll dive in a little bit more because he will be this would be his what, third?
Fourth.
Fourth.
For
Mhm.
Fourth in, but 3 wins. Um, like he was projected to be the next Tom Brady, and I still think he will be as long as he has a lengthy career. But I very much like the coach. He kind of like he reminds me of like a Colonel Sanders, but a real life Colonel Sanders. Well, Tad, thank you so much for sharing. Nard, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having me, of course.
For
And
anybody listening, or I guess everybody's listening, only us two can see it. Nard is in his Packers Christmas sweater, which I respect the commitment as I am wearing a
damn right.
Sailor Moon shirt. Um, Nard, welcome back. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your favorite team?
All right. First of all, I want to say I'm in a full Green Bay Packers outfit. Not just the sweatshirt, but I got the PJ pants on too. Let me go ahead and show
Oh,
them real quick. There
fashion
we go.
show.
See? There we
Oh
go.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, see, I'm decked out in all green and yellow today. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, I'm not from Wisconsin. I am actually from North Carolina, born and raised. Should be a North Carolina Panthers fan, but yeah, I grew up in a little small town in North Carolina. Lived there most of my life, most of my adulthood. I've been out here in Southern California, and do sim stuff. I'm a video producer. I do a little bit of video editing for clients and stuff like that outside of the Sims content that I do. And yeah, my football history has been very interesting since childhood. So that's a little bit about me.
I love that. I think that actually kind of leads me into my first question. So, as we have two people from the States here, as a Canadian, football is not really talked about here. Like we have the CFL.
Mhm.
It's a little different, which I think is the funniest difference is we have rouges, which are
Mm.
1 point. And I went to my first ever CFL game and I was like, I want to see a rouge. Um, but here it's hockey. As we got we're talking before the podcast starts, like you guys put your kids in like football at a young age. It's
Mhm.
Timbits hockey here. So I'm really curious to see what was your first ever football game that you saw as a kid? Do you both remember?
Um, First of all, let's clarify that when we say football, because there's gonna probably be a lot of people listening in, we mean like American football, not like the American, not soccer or maybe even rugby or whatever. We're talking American football. All right. My very first football game, if we're just talking football in general, like
Mhm.
no, like not NFL or whatever, I would say probably like just like a high school football game. I
Okay.
think probably dates back as way in the childhood when I can't even really remember my very first one, but once I started gaining my memory, I would definitely say it was probably like a high school game, probably like I'm from a little small town, so probably like one of the just local high school games, which was a lot of fun, sitting out in the bleachers watching kids play football, listening to the marching bands, just growing that experience of like being out and actually watching a live sporting event. Cause I'm pretty sure basketball might have been one of my first games too as well. But because when I first started, when I first grew up, when I was in my childhood, we didn't really have a team yet. Because we didn't really get the North Carolina Panthers until I want to say maybe definitely like maybe mid '90s. I felt like when I grew
Yeah,
up, because I'm an '80s baby, we definitely didn't have a football team.
yeah, they're an expansion team with like the
Hmm.
Titans, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't maybe it was just those two, but yeah, they came later. They're a
Hmm.
very
Yeah, yeah. So I would definitely say my first football game was definitely like a high school football game when I was a kid.
Very, very good. So I gotta ask, so is it kind of like Friday Night Lights, like the TV show, like the town comes together and watches high school football people play?
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Have you ever been to a college game?
Yeah, so many.
So many. Okay. Nard, how
Believe
about
it or
you?
believe it or not, I the college I went to, it was a little small liberal arts college, and they didn't get their football team until like a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I never personally went to a college football game now that I think about it, which is crazy. And I'm from a state that is all about college sports because I'm, obviously from North Carolina. So like, I mean, you got all those crazy football colleges out there in basketball, of course, like Chapel Hill, Wake Forest, ECU, even, all those teams. And so yeah, it was just weird that I never went to a college football game, which is crazy. Like I went from going to high school football games to like legit professional NFL football games, which is crazy. Like I never experienced. I always wanted to, which I still probably could fly over to like LSU and catch me a quick game or some roll tide, baby, or something like that, but yeah, it's weird. I never went to a college game, but yeah, Friday Night Lights was definitely a huge thing, especially in like smaller cities when it's a way to just be with the community. It's like a tradition. You don't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
And if you're in a small city, but a city that still has various high schools,
Hmm.
then you have rivalries, which is kind of cool to see and experience. Rivalries between not just the team but the bands. You got like bands competing with each other, trying to be that top band of that city. It's fun. It's culture, and it's a lot of fun. Growing up and doing the whole Friday Night Lights and watching teams like compete with each other, and it's a lot of fun.
I love that. Tattooed Simmer, how about you? When was the first football game you've ever been to?
so I think like now that I remember, so my PE teacher in grade school is like one of my favorite teachers. He was awesome. Like he loved kids, made everything super fun, and he was the high school football coach at
Hmm.
my school. And like the way we classify schools in the United or like in Kansas, I guess, is kind of weird. So like it goes from 1A to 6A. 1A is the smallest, 6A is the biggest. So I went to a 1A high school, which meant I had like 20 kids in my class. So it was very, very, very small. Um, and so it's like the lowest level of and we didn't even play with 11 people. So there weren't enough people to play 11-man football, which is what the NFL is. There's 11 people on each side. We played 8-man football. So it's a smaller field, same rules and everything. There's just not as many people. So I really got into it when my high school, when I was a little kid, went to the state championship game. Um, and so it was like Nard said, like it was a big deal. The whole town went to the game. So that was like my first experience in it. And then we went again the next year. So they ended up winning like 2 years in a row. He moved after that. kind of fell off of it for a little bit. My mom and I ended up I moved to a school that was also pretty good at sports. And that was like their thing. So like if you didn't do sports at my school, you were like the weird kid. There's very few of them that didn't. Maybe like a handful of kids that didn't participate in sports because there were so few of us that like everybody had to do it if you wanted to have a team. So we were really good, and we actually, when I was in high school, ended up playing my old PE teacher and his new team in sub-state, and we lost. And we lost in the last like 26 seconds of the game. So on like our stadium was posted like the number 26 for years. I'm pretty sure like until the school closed. And then he ended up moving again to my cousin's school and won like 3 championships there. He's like one of the most successful high school coaches in the state. He's won like 6 or 7 championships. And so that's kind of what started my love for it. So then I came to university. I came to school at Kansas State. And it's not Alabama, it's not LSU, but we don't have, I mean, we have good people. We have people that have made it to the NFL. I've seen a lot of really good people come through this school, and like tailgating here is super, super popular. Like you're allowed to start in the parking lot like 6 hours before the game. So,
Dang.
and they do.
6 hours?
Mhm.
That's a
So,
long
so
time before the game.
if the game's at 11 a.m., there will be people there at 5 a.m. And
That's
a lot
crazy.
of times they're still drinking from Friday before. It's like one of the wildest things. It's one of the wildest things we'll ever be a part of. But we had some pretty good people that come through, like Jordy Nelson, who was on Nard's team.
What's my team? Go ahead and say it.
Green Bay Packers.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so I grew up, just watching a lot of really good football, except for the Chiefs when I was younger. They were terrible. All right. So yeah, that kind of is what like started my love for it. I got to play like once or twice. They added what we called powder puff football at my school, and it was just like, and then on the opposite end they had like Ironman volleyball or something like that. So like one evening, it was like at the end of the season a year, we would switch, and the guys would play volleyball and we would play football. So it was just like a fun little way to like end the season and trade places. So I did play a couple of times, but it's not, I mean, not seriously or anything like that.
I that's really cool. It's really interesting to hear this perspective of what it's like to be in the States, and like Friday nights watching college football players become part of the NFL. I'm gonna keep saying this every day. I'm so sorry, but for us, it's hockey. I'm so sorry, everybody. Please keep a tally going of how many times I say the H word, because you're gonna get plastered by the end of this podcast. But
How many so far? 2?
at least 5. At least
Okay.
5.
I'll tally.
So for myself, the first ever football game I went to was in grade 9. For anybody in Ontario listening, first off, love you. Second, we all know what red feather. So red feather is like when all the schools will like play each other as like a one game. It's like the number one rivalry, and they bus both schools out. In London, it's at Western, but it just pick a big university, and they bus both high school players out. They play on this giant field, and like we go and watch. We dress up. It's a huge deal, red feather. But that's it. Like there's nothing else. For us, like I went to school with a ton of people that were in the OHL, which then turned into the NHL, because I was a school that allowed to them to be part-time students. So that was a huge thing. For us, it was seeing a London Knights game on Friday nights. Like if you didn't have Knights tickets, you were trying to get Knights tickets, or you were trying or you would just go out and like watch the game at home, or you would do that. And for anyone who doesn't know what the OHL is, it's the Ontario Hockey League. It's our juniors. So it is between, I believe, 16 to over agers might be 19 or 20. That's where most players in Canada, or especially in Ontario, do get their start. There are others, like there's the AHL, which is out in the Atlantic provinces, and then there's one in like the BC area and stuff. But it's cool to hear. It's kind of like it's somewhat similar. I gotta talk about tailgating. I've been to 2 NFL games. I saw Buffalo and I can't remember I think it was Detroit. And I've seen Detroit versus the New York Giants. And my first ever game was Buffalo. It was a winter game, so it was an outdoor arena, which anybody watching this season, when it was Kansas City. Oh no,
Miami.
Kansas. Yeah, sorry, Miami. Not that one. No, it was Kansas City versus Buffalo at Buffalo.
Oh,
I've sat in those seats and it's fucking cold. And we had a warm day that day. You're just sitting on wood, my friend, and metal. It's cold. But it was $6 a seat. So like
Dang, that's cheap.
it was so cheap because at the time Buffalo was garbage and they were just happy to like fill seats. But it was interesting. So we ended up finding this random tailgate. Who were they? Canadians.
That's funny.
Who just moved to Buffalo, had moved to Buffalo like 10 years prior and just tailgating. I had so much fun. It was the weird people I've never met. They're like, "You want beer?" And it was like themed snacks. Everything was like Buffalo themed. And I was like, "Y'all do this every week? Holy shit." And they're like, "Yeah, we do this every week." It was like a giant party. And I've never experienced that in live sport before. How about you guys? What was your first tailgating experience, and how memorable was it?
I'm gonna think about mine real quick.
okay. Mine. Okay, so I went the first like college football game I went to. I was probably like 10 or 11. And it was when Jordy was in college here, and it was so hot. It was like the beginning of the season, so we were playing. It wasn't even like a conference game. So what happens here is they play like 2 or 3 out of conference games at the beginning of the season. They're supposed to be like games that you can win to, pat your whatever to get a bowl game anyways, and then you go into conference games. So I don't even remember who we played. It was so hot outside, and we beat them like 49-3 or something like that. It was crazy. Anyway, so we were thirsty, and I went back out. Like we were going back out after the game to the car, and we didn't have any water, but I was like so thirsty. I didn't want to walk back inside to like buy water. So my stepdad was like, "Oh, let's just take some of the water from the melted ice in the cooler and you can drink that." Well, we had this huge barbecue, like had fajitas and stuff like that. And so the water tasted like fajita peppers, and it was the grossest thing on the face of the planet. But like outside of that core memory, my stepdad also rigged up a blender to start with like a weed eater puller. So that it didn't take electricity and you could make margaritas outside. But that was before you had like like mini ninjas or whatever that you could with you. So this was like in 2004 or something like that. So like 20 years ago. He had rigged up this like giant blender so you could make a pitcher of margaritas with gasoline instead of electricity, because obviously beer is not good enough. I don't know. I don't know.
Right?
It's crazy. And now here, so they've built on like a huge practice facility, and then we have like a rowing facility out by our stadium, which have taken over parts of the tailgating space, and people are like pissed off about it. They're like, "Well, now where do I
margaritas?"
It's like there's still a lot of part. It just, I don't know. It's people take it very, very seriously. Some people don't even go into the game. Like when I was in college, I would hear of students like when I was in school, you could buy like a season pass if you were a student and it was cheaper. and some students would buy the season passes and they would almost never make it into the games. They would just stay outside and drink at the tailgates and watch it on their phones because you weren't allowed to drink inside at the stadium.
That's crazy.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. Also, but that's still like, I'm sorry that happened. That like you had to like drink hot pepper water.
He was like, I know you're really thirsty. I'm trying to help. And then I was just like, oh, no, I think I can wait for water.
Yep. Nard, how about you? What was your first tailgating experience?
I want to say it was probably the Chargers game because I'm living out here in San Diego. This was when they were in San Diego Chargers. They're in LA now, right? Yeah, and they're in LA now. So this was back when they were in San Diego in the late or early 2000s, like 2000, probably to like 2007 or 2008 was my first Chargers game, and also my first tailgating experience because again, I haven't been to any college football games. So I wasn't able to experience that whole tailgating at a college event. So it was actually a lot of fun, and I can agree that you can really invest a lot of time just drinking and eating at the tailgating to the point where you could potentially forget to actually go to the game, or you can just get a little too tipsy to the point where it's like you probably won't make it inside the game, inside the stadium. But it was a lot of fun. It was different because you have like you can tell from the ones that are like always tailgating. Like there's like legit tailgating veterans that are like they have like the whole setup. They got speakers out there, a DJ, they got a barbecue
that are rigged up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like vans, and it's an experience to see. And then when I went to go see my first Green Bay Packers game, the whole freaking neighborhood outside of the stadium is literally a tailgating party. Like you can literally just walk to the stadium and there's almost every neighbor or every house rent out their front yard to people who want to park their car versus park it at the stadium and actually have tailgating. So you're literally walking to the stadium and there's like people tailgating and hanging out. It's a lot of fun. And then they also encourage it too when you're out at the stadium too, which was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Tailgating is a lot of fun. Like I would totally just if the NFL or if stadiums were like, hey, you can either have a ticket to go see the game or you can just have a ticket for tailgating. More than likely, I would just buy a ticket just to tailgate, just to be in that environment because the environment could be a little, especially when I'm back in my 20s. You know, it's dangerous. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
I love that. For anybody who's never been to tailgating, and there's a lot of people on this listening to this who will never experience it because there's only one UK game a year or maybe one Germany game a year, which I think is actually really smart on the NFL part of getting different countries excited about the sport. Just describe tailgating to anybody. I understand, but like the excitement of what it's like. Because I just want everyone to actually paint the picture and see what it's like.
I feel like it's like the start of like the hype of the game, right? So like that's where you go to like meet all your friends that you're gonna sit with whatever before the game, and it's like the party that you have like before a Super Bowl or any like big sporting event. Like you bring a bunch of food, you sit there and you talk to people like, what do you think's gonna happen, who's gonna have a good game, like, you know, things like that. It's just like camaraderie between your friends, because then while you're in the game, you know, you're paying attention, you're watching on, so you don't really get to talk to those people. So that's like the time when you get to like sit and hang out and talk to your friends before the event. So I feel like it's like number one. And then number two, at least for me, when I got into the college games, was like bands are huge in college games. And like if you have a good one, they will get you so it's like a tailgating, and then the band starts to get you real hype, and then the game starts. Like it's you would if you came to a game here, that's it. It starts with that, and then like you can hear the drums of the band like coming around the corner, and then the students will start to get so loud. Like they hype the band up too. They love them so much. They're like just as famous as the football players almost. It's craziness. And so it's just like the start of the fun, really.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand like I ain't gonna say understand, but like I feel like sometimes the NFL culture, not even NFL, but the football culture is just so different depending on your demographic or where you stay in the states. Like being in
Mm-hmm.
like southern states, it's not just like the art of the football game. It's like some people literally go for the marching bands because
Mm-hmm.
there's like the marching band is like a large percentage of people like their dream is sometimes to play in a marching band at a specific college. I mean, there's like it's crazy. It's just like it's not just the football, but it's also like being part of the band or even the tailgating experience. It's like to me it's really awesome to see how it's just not just football, it's just playing football. There's just so many different demographics. And then when it comes to tailgating, I like to tell people it's almost like an Independence Day gathering at a lake where you're at your thing doing your barbecue or you're at a picnic doing your thing, but then there's 50,000 or like there's like hundreds of other families all around the same lake doing the same thing, waiting for the same thing that you're waiting for the fireworks or for that festival or whatever it is. That's what how I look at tailgating, because tailgating is still you're still with your friends and your family, but it, for the most part, it's still like a you're still friendly around other people that are around you. So sometimes you can like meet people, mingle with people, and stuff like that. So I like that type of culture. Like you just park your car, you pull out your grill, pull out your little lawn chair, you got your little margaritas, your water with your little jalapeno peppers in it, and then you just do your thing. It's nice. Doing little keg stands. Got your little DJ out there spinning some tunes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It get rowdy too. It gets a little rowdy. But yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know if I have it. One of my friends has it, but there's a video when I started. So I've been at the restaurant I work at for like, we're going on year 9 now. So I was there when I was like 21. And so all of us at that time were just like crazy 21-year-olds working in a restaurant. One guy came in to work with his face. It was like on a game day. So we're super busy. His face is just scratched. And he is like clearly still not sober. And we're like, what is going on, man? What is the deal? And he's like, I don't really know. And then we get sent this video. He rode a bicycle out of the back of a pickup truck tailgate. Like he put it in and just like straight face
Yeah.
planted, because that's what people think is fun to do. It's just it can go poorly if you're
hmm
not an adult about it. But
Yeah, I'm glad you brought those up too, because I feel like we're just talking and sharing about the good parts of tailgating. There are those bad parts of tailgating too.
fights,
hmm
yeah. So you can have fun, but it's like everything else. You just have to. Some people treat it like the 4th of July every weekend, and it's like, okay,
Um, Spectacular. So what stadiums have you been to?
I have not been to an NFL game, and that's mostly due to the fact that I work in restaurants, so I like work on the weekends all the time. So
Okay.
I don't really like have an opportunity to go.
Okay.
Like even when I was in college, I went for like the first year, um, when I didn't have a job and I was just like focusing on school. And then after that, like I would go to like one game a year, maybe when I would have the opportunity to be off. So I've never been to an NFL game, but I have been in NFL stadiums for um like college bowl games.
Okay.
hmm
So like K-State went to the Sugar Bowl last year to play Alabama, so I went to that game. Um I guess I wasn't well, this year would have been the Pop Tarts one, which was hilarious. And then that was the year before that. So I've been to the stadium where the Saints play. It's huge. It's beautiful. that was a crazy time. Like bowl games are also crazy because it's like the Super Bowl for your college, you know. I mean, not the Super Bowl, it's close because like the Super Bowl will obviously be like the national championship, but there are some other like bigger ones and they're super fun too. They're just like heightened versions of like regular and New Orleans is always a fun place, so I had way too much fun there. But and then I've been to the Cowboys Stadium when we had a bowl game there. That stadium's almost too big. Like I caught myself watching the Jumbotron more than I was watching like the field, and I was like, why did we spend all this money for me to watch a giant TV? Like that seems silly. I think those are probably the only two.
Okay.
I think the other places I've been in weren't like NFL stadiums; they were just places.
Nard, how about you?
For me, I went to Qualcomm Stadium back when the San Diego had a football team, which was the Chargers. I went to a Chargers game. I think I went to three. I went to one. I think two was for one. Well, two was for pleasure, and then one was actually for work. Like I actually went and filmed some stuff for. Actually, I think I might have went four times, twice for work, and then twice for just leisure or whatever. And then I went and actually went to a Green Bay game in actual Green Bay, which was fun. And I did a Green Bay tour of the stadium one year, and then the following year I actually went to a game on Christmas Eve, and that was a lot of fun. Being inside of an NFL stadium is a very very exciting experience. It's like being inside. I don't want to. People are gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm trying to compare like being in the stadium of your favorite team is almost comparable to your first time experience walking into maybe Disneyland or maybe Disney World. I know that's a stretch.
Yeah.
I know it's a stretch, but
I look at Disney adults and I'm like, why would you go to Disney without a child? Like to me, that concept doesn't, I don't understand
right.
it. But
Yeah.
for me to like go to a place like that, I'm like, oh my God, this is enormous. Like
Mhm. I know that's a bad comparison, but that's what I'm saying. It's like when you've been a fan of a specific team and now you're actually be able to go in and feel the history, especially older stadiums like Lambeau Field, how the history of it. They still have like, certain architect that's been there since day one that they make sure that they keep polished. So it's part of the history still. Walking through the tunnels and stuff, taking tours and just being in the environment it's really cool. It's really nice. So yeah, I think I've been to two stadiums and yeah, both stadiums are really cool in their own way. So it's cool being in an NFL stadium. It's a lot of fun.
It's cool. It's completely like nothing you'd ever see
Right?
before.
Right, because
So
you said you've been to two stadiums, right?
Detroit, Buffalo, and me and Jason toured in Chicago. Shoulders. Oh my God, I can never say Soldiers
Soldiers.
Field. Soldiers Field. Seeing Soldiers Field was so cool because again, an original team. They went in. They still have the original parts of it, but it's completely redone. We got to tour through the locker rooms, the press rooms, the coaches stuff, the VIP rooms where it costs like $1 million a year to be there, and the like the VIP section. So it was just so cool to see. Which actually kind of leads me to like Nara's example as being like a Disney adult of going in. For anybody who's never gone to a football game, can you explain to them what it's like when you are playing a team and you are trying to distract the defense and it is so loud and it feels like there's an earthquake between your feet? Can you guys explain that to everybody listening?
It's like you're at like a big concert. Like it's like a concert, and
with a
it's
very,
just
but yeah, like I mean, like music, if anyone's ever been to like a music festival before, it's kind of like that because you can get very like close together. It just depends on how nice the places that you are really. But like they sell a lot of student tickets for like university games, and so you pack in there pretty tight. And at the beginning of the university season, it's like the beginning of September, end of August, and it is hot outside.
Mhm.
Like it is so hot outside, but it's just like I think everyone just feeds off of each other. And like I said earlier, like when the band starts, I think that's when they start it, because you have the drums that really start it, and so people are just trying to like match
Mhm.
that energy. Instead of like music, it's just a low roar almost, and that's why you can feel it, is because it's
Mhm.
just not it's not like high pitched at all. It's just a very low pitched, loud, constant noise.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just you just like I said, it's like energy. Like you just feel the energy. It puts you into it. It brings you into like what's happening. You're like into the game. You're yelling. Everybody's yelling around you. It's crazy. I feel like it's just part of the energy. It's part of the vibe that you're in. You'll be silly just to sit there while everybody else is around you not yelling. It's just like you're part of it. Right? It's like you just have to be part of it. It brings you into what's happening. It's crazy.
No, it's absolutely crazy. The first game I ever went to was Buffalo, and we are outside, and like basically you're being loud, so
Mhm.
the players on the field cannot hear the
Here.
call, so it's either an offside or it's a flag, and it's an automatic first down. So I didn't know what to expect, but I was, because it was outdoor and it was snowing. Like the snow was like coming down on us,
Mhm.
and like it was like the ground was shaking and I couldn't see, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But it is absolutely, it's so cool to see like everyone just to try to distract the defense.
Mhm.
Um, no, it's very, again, thank you for explaining that. Just because there's a lot of people, which we will get to momentarily. It's their first ever year watching football
Oh.
for one person. So it's curious to see their aspect of it. I think this is a perfect time to segue into this season of the NFL. There was a lot of amazing rookies that came out this year. I would say both our teams were somewhat affected in different ways. You didn't have Nard, you didn't have Aaron Rodgers.
Nah,
Um,
he went to
well,
the Jets
you went to the Jets and played from
and
about,
got hurt.
yeah, about 12 seconds in and tore his
Mhm.
ACL.
Yeah. That
Um,
sucks.
No,
and
no, he tore his ACL. He tore his Achilles.
Sir
Achilles,
Achilles,
that's right. Yeah,
Achilles,
yeah,
sorry, his
yeah.
Achilles.
No, yeah, that's worse. If he tore his ACL, he probably would have come back.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the question, like, should he, like, he has to come back. But the question is, do you think the Packers were just good, or was it Aaron Rodgers that carried the team and
I
the
think
Packers were actually garbage?
no, I think the Packers this year did just fine with them. So I think they are a young team for one, and I think Jordan Love is our now quarterback, and I think he has potential. And then because everybody's so young and they don't have a lot of veterans on, they do still have veterans on the team, of course, that they can learn from. I just think they can kind of grow together and like just learn from each other and just be a team. And they have a young coach as well, so. I thought at one point I didn't think they were even gonna like make it as far as they did because their first four games were like iffy, and then the next four games they lost them, and then all of a sudden they're together now. They're polished. They know each other. They know how to read the quarterback, and they're just all around good team. They got this momentum out of nowhere. Now they're like, oh, we can have potential playoff team or playoff potential. Tell that to a bunch of young people. They're gonna go. They're gonna go all crazy. They're gonna go all out to make sure that they can prove everybody wrong.
Mhm.
So I don't think it was, oh, we lost Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers took us to the playoffs a few
One,
times, but still lost it. So what does that tell you? Okay, we're always playoff potentials, but we can never make it to the Super Bowl. But yeah, he's a great team. I don't wish any injuries on anybody, but yeah, I do feel that we did lose a great quarterback, but now we got a younger quarterback that can do just as 10 times as better. Maybe he won't be as good as Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? He's still a young quarterback, but yeah, I think there's some good potential for the Green Bay Packers. So go Pack, go baby! Hey.
I think that Green Bay did the same thing they just did once before, and it worked well for them. So why wouldn't they do it again? It's
Exactly.
exactly what they did to Brett Favre. It's the same situation.
Yeah, and then what did Aaron Rodgers do? The following year, he took them to the Super Bowl with a fresh new a fresh new head coach.
Yeah.
So it's like I could see the same thing happening with Jordan Love. You know, like maybe next year they'll go all the way.
Wait, I think some teams recognize it too late that it's just the energy is off. Like if you don't have the teams that don't like each other don't go very far because that's, I mean, if you don't get along with the people that you work with, it's just not going to go well, you know? And so if I think that he had been there for it's like when you have that one person at work that's been there forever and they think that they know everything that's going on. Like, okay, man, we get it. You've been here for forever, but like, can we try something new?
Yeah.
And they don't want to try something new. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't want to try something new, then go. Like, we're trying something new.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that was a good thing for the Vikings too. I don't know if it was this year or last year. They got like a bunch of young people, new head coaches, and new staff. And I felt like their morale was a little bit better because they just had a fresher start. I wonder if I think that might have been last season. Because I'm not a big into stats and stuff. I just usually stay in my lane and just stick with my boys. Because there's those there's like different types of like football fans. You got your.
My husband's very much a stats person. Like he could tell you when somebody scores a touchdown, what college they played for, and like what year they left for the NFL. It's crazy.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. So you got to break it down, right? So you have your big stats. Those are the people that you want to avoid if you're just a fan of your team, right? Then you have the football player or fans that are just always going to rep their state. They don't even know who the players are. They might can tell you the quarterback, but hey, I'm from North Carolina. I'm going to rock my Panthers. I'm going to sit with my partner or whatever and do the damn thing, right? Then you have I'm just all about fantasy football, my work thing, do something together. I'm very competitive. All right, cool. I'm going to root for all these people who are on my little list of whatever, right? Then you have your player or fans where it's like, oh, shoot, I'm a Swiftie fan. She's all about the Chiefs. Okay. So, boom, that is your lineup of types of football fans right there.
And hardcore that it's a legacy family team. So if your great granddaddy
forgot about them
was a Detroit Lions fan, you best believe you will be a Detroit Lions fan. You bleed blue. That's so funny. So obviously we can't talk about the NFL without talking about Taylor Swift. I love that she comes and supports her man. I'm just gonna say it. So the funniest thing I got married on September 23rd. And all the handouts, we did like a fun, get to know the couple because not everybody knew me or knew Jason. And the question is what's our favorite NFL teams? And my husband is a Giants fan. I cannot say I was always a Kansas City fan because that would be the biggest lie. I actually liked the Cleveland Browns. And the reason I'm going to say that is because I never watched an NFL game until I met my husband. So Sundays were football days. So I watched the Browns go 0-16. So I was like, I'm gonna pick this team because next season they can only do better. And then they did better. And I remember when they won their first game after like 19 games, so like almost a year and a half, and the fucking crowd went insane. And I was like, yes. And then they did some really shady stuff by hiring a really gross player, and I didn't like why they would do that. So I was like, I really like Patrick Mahomes because I like that he was a baseball player, so he throws these fucking crazy ass throws, and he's like a kid. So I was like, I like this guy, so I changed my allegiance pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, that's.
I was like, I like this. This is cool. So anyways, since the last couple of years, I've been a Kansas City fan. So Taylor Swift's first game was September 24th. 2023.
Oh.
Because it was the day after we got married. I fell asleep on the couch because I was exhausted the day after the wedding. I wake up and Taylor Swift is on the screen, and everybody's messaging my husband. Well, I guess a husband as of a day. There's like, both your girls like Kansas City, and it has just been a joke ever since. And now people are like, "Oh, do you like Kansas City because of Taylor Swift?" I'm like, no, no, no. I have proof.
Yeah.
The day before, which was made months prior, that I'm a Kansas City fan. But she's done a lot for the NFL in the last year. People are tuning in who have never turned into an NFL game. The Kansas City jerseys, Travis Kelce sold out the day after. You have more people watching for the first time ever. You can't deny it. And I don't care about the Chads and the Brads and the dads, okay? Like, she's just supporting her man. Like, don't be mad at her that the NFL just shoots over to her at every time Travis does something.
Right. That's what I was. It's not her. Like, she's just there. Be mad at the and be mad at the NFL for showing her all the time instead
that's
of
true too.
Her fault. Like, not her fault. They show her on TV all the time. That's not. She's there. That's just what they're doing. But it just, it cracks me up how much everyone around here has like gotten into it and like tried to capitalize off of it, and it's just like, can we leave people alone? Like, it's like crazy. It's like one of the craziest things to me. But I was laughing last week. So last Sunday, a woman walked in with a sweater that said Taylor's boyfriend. And I jokingly said, I know you're new here, but the Super Bowl's next week. This is the All-Star. This is the Pro Bowl. The Super Bowl's next week. Like, we have to skip a week. I know but maybe ask questions before we wear the Taylor sweater on the wrong week. I don't it's not this. He's not playing today.
Yeah, it's funny. But I mean, if we're being honest though, like, I know people are always gonna, there's always gonna be people who appreciate it and people who are gonna hate it. But I think just in general for the NFL, I think it was still a positive impact. She's not a bad person. It's not like, it's negative, like a negative result. Like, I mean,
it's not like an NFL getting attention for, outcasting a person for taking a knee, or or not outcasting a person who has allegations of misconduct of like 20 women.
Right.
It's not that. So like, why are we mad?
It's like most people she's an icon, and the fact that an icon enjoys football, people who follow her is going to be like, let me give this football thing a chance. My favorite icon likes football. Let me see what this football is about. All right. She likes Kansas City Chiefs. I guess I like Kansas City Chiefs. Not me, but her fans. So yeah, that's what I think, right?
Asterisk, she's actually an Eagles fan.
Oh,
she comes from a steady line of Eagles. Like, her dad's a full-on Eagles fan.
Disrespecting the Eagles, Taylor.
It was crazy too, because people were so like, people have so many insane like conspiracy theories with everything like surrounding her. And it's like, can we just leave? Like, they were like, she's an Eagles fan, she's not a Chiefs fan, she's just trying to infiltrate the Chiefs to destroy them so that the Eagles can win the Super Bowl. It's like, how did that work out? The Eagles lost the down and the Chiefs are scared. So can we just stop?
Right? She's like, again, she's just supporting her man. Like, let her have, I mean, she brings her famous friends. Cool. Okay. Whatever. She's going to a football game with her friends on a Sunday. So do the rest of us.
Right.
So like, why does it matter?
And out of all fairness, she could still be an Eagles fan and just rock and rep her boyfriend's team. Yeah. Because they're obviously two on the different divisions, AFC and NFC. I mean,
Well, exactly. I mean,
fine.
Her future brother-in-law, I mean, he's Eagles. It's fine.
Okay, future brother-in-law. Come on. You think they're gonna get married?
Yeah. No, this is love.
Oh, okay.
As believe me, I had so many conversations with Swifties because I'm surrounded by them. Just looking at her and how in love she is, it's not an act for the first time in her dating history. Like, you can genuinely see how happy she is. And this is also me gauging. So also, Alicia, you're on mute.
I said, so we are admitting that the rest of them are acts. Is that what I just heard?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I heard. That's
Yeah,
what I heard, is that the 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. How many have we had? All just for songs? I'm sorry. I'll get back off my soapbox.
Hey, I mean, she was with Joe for the longest time. Okay, people thought her and Joe were endgame. I don't
Yeah,
know,
that was one.
but the thing is Travis is the first person that acknowledges to how fucking famous she is. He can't sell out a stadium. He can't. Not just him. She can go to any spot in the world and sell out that stadium multiple nights.
Yo, she's selling out parking lot admission seats at stadiums because people are willing to sit outside the stadium to go see a Taylor Swift show.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. But I do hope, you know, they get married and then we can see the real life High School Musical Troy
Biopic.
Bolton experience. If is he going to be, if it's a boy, is he going to be a football player like his dad or a singer like mom? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, there's also other very crazy moments. This past season, you had a very high scoring game against the Miami Dolphins. I don't know who the fuck they destroyed.
Not the Dallas Cowboys, the Denver Broncos. It was my pick.
It was 72 versus 20. And I was like, I woke up and I thought it because I had a nap and I was like, oh, that clearly is a wrong score. And Jason's like, no.
I didn't know you could score that many points given how often you switch over the turnovers. Plus, that's like Madden 2022 type scores when you're playing like the computer in like beginner mode or something.
So Miami's coach used to be Denver, like he's from Denver, and he was Denver's ball boy when he was younger. So yeah, and I love him too. I think he's hilarious. Like the videos of Mike McDaniels on the sidelines, like he is so funny to me. He's like one of those young coaches that like makes people want to watch it again. I think that's also part of what like are bringing more people back into the NFL is like we're starting to get some more younger coaches. And so it's not just like Andy Reid is old. He's not going to be there for Belichick is gone now, you know, like, so some of the older people who have been around so it's like, it's almost like we're turning over into like a new generation of football. And like, we haven't really seen that in a really long time. You know, I think it's like, it started with Tom Brady leaving. So now there's like this shift almost of.
It's a change of the guard, right? It's just.
Yeah.
Now you guys actually brought up my bonus question. I like to ask this question. Was Tom Brady just the fucking best, or was Belichick, I don't actually know his first name. Was he the best coach, or was it just a perfect storm?
Yeah, I've always said that like I think that the quarterbacks who like are super highly talked about coming out of college, like they don't always do so well because a lot of people talk about their physical abilities and their physical appearance and things. Tom Brady is not huge. Like he's a normal sized dude, really.
Yeah.
Like tall, but he's not ripped. He's not, but he's very smart. And that's like I was talking about Mike McDaniels earlier. Like a lot of people, he went to Yale to play football. That's why Miami has done so well, is because he knows like how to play football. And so I think that Tom Brady was so smart that like that compensated what, and I think people regard him as so great because you look at him and you wouldn't think like that's the greatest quarterback the NFL has ever had. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's just so smart, and he knows the inside and out so well that like he knows what you're about to do before you do it. Like that's just it. That's the way Michael Jordan was with basketball.
Yeah.
Like they know the entire game so well that there isn't anything they haven't seen, really.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, and
Nard, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I also think it does come with the team effort, like being a good leader on a team that is going to be able to also provide for you. You can be the best ever, but if you're not connecting with your team, with your coach, then it's like you're out there, you're out there on the battlefield with no protection. You know, I think of it as a battle. Like if you're a good leader, your team's got to believe in you and protect you too. Like it's a unit. So if you have a smart, good leader, like obviously like Brady,
Mhm.
then I feel like that makes him a great quarterback. He can get in any situation, any war zone, and be able to do what he does because he might not have the best of offensive lineman, but his offensive lineman, he knows how to be strategic about how he's going to be able to be capable of getting the ball out with the strengths of his team. And he
yeah,
know
well,
like you said,
don't hear. I mean, there are people that dislike him, but like to me, like there are certain people that I think about like throughout just my professional career that maybe we weren't like people, but like the bosses that knew how to speak to me in a way that like I would understand and motivate me to be better, even if we didn't like agree on things, you know. And so yeah, it takes like that kind of a person to like gather people like that.
yeah,
You have to know how to like talk to people and work with people too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know,
he
you
probably
don't really
did. Yeah, I'm
people
sure
talk
he did. Oh, sorry.
super poorly about him, you know, like there's not Tom Brady controversies,
No.
Bes-
you know.
Yeah.
besides Deflategate. Just
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
well
just
that
say.
but you know, like
No,
that that was also a group effort.
see, something I will say, I kind of came in kind of late because like I don't like I just he had already won 7 Super Bowls by the time I'd like ever seen a football game with him in there. He knows the game, like we talked about. What I kind of respect about him is he was what a 12th round pick. Like
Yeah.
he's a Cinderella story, regardless if you like him or not. Not only that, he took a less salary so he could have a better team around him. And also, if they lost the game, he never once said, "Oh, it was my tight end that couldn't get his shit together," or his defense. He would say, "We need to work better as a team."
Mhm.
He never singled anyone. Like to me, that's just a high level of respect. And the fact that he left the Patriots, went to the Buccaneers, and won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Yeah.
My opinion, he should have just left then. He could have just said, you know what? I'm great at this sport no matter what team I play on, and call it a day. And it's kind of, he didn't follow the Joker's message from The Dark Knight. You either live long enough
Yeah.
or you to see yourself become the villain. And he
Mhm.
did. I mean, at the end of the day, clearly he was having family problems. His wife wanted to see him. His kids wanted to
Mhm.
see him. They didn't want to watch him on a screen anymore. I wish they could have. I would if like. I'm sure he wishes he could go back and change it, but at the same time, I just this man had such a legacy,
I
goes
just think
down in like the worst season he's ever played, and then
Mhm.
retires. Right?
as the advocate though, I am somebody that if you tell me what to do, I'm gonna 100% not do what you just told me to do.
Yeah.
Everyone was telling him to retire. His wife
Yes.
was everyone was telling him to retire. And if that were me, I would say, fuck you. I'm gonna
Mhm.
retire whenever the hell I want to retire. You're not gonna tell me when I'm gonna retire. And somebody who's the greatest, and Michael Jordan did it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like they just can't, that's their life, you
Yeah.
know, and like what do I do now? Like
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do now? So like I understand why he, you know, didn't, and like I get it because I would be like, no, I'm not. I'm at the top of my game. Why would I quit
Quit
now? And all
now.
people are telling me I need to quit, so it makes me want to not quit. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
that's my side of it. But that's also just the way I am. Like my mom found out that about me at a young age. Like if you tell her what to do directly, she's just 100% not going to do that thing.
Well, I think you should obviously continue to be a Chiefs fan then. keep on being a Chiefs fan then. You gonna be a Chiefs fan? You'll keep on being a Chiefs fan? I'm just messing with you.
Maybe if Taylor Swift stays, I'll have to switch sides. But
Okay.
it'll never be.
Switch
But
allegiance.
I do get what you're saying, because I feel like a lot of great players don't want to quit when their superiors are like, I think this should be your last year. Because look at Joe Montana. He went over to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know, Favre was like, look, I still feel like I got a little bit more years in me. Went over and did two additional teams. Aaron Rodgers made the choice to leap on his own, I guess, because I guess he had some conflict with the team. But yeah, he's up there now. I think he should probably consider retiring.
No, I think that he needs to go just be on the Pat McAfee show every day. Like, that's what he really wants to do. He should just go do that. Like,
right.
It's not disrespect. Like, he loves being on the show. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
He could make a lot of money on the show. He can make a lot of money, more money.
Yeah.
Doing that. Like, I don't understand at this point. It's like, I don't understand why, but I guess maybe that's just the same thing. Like, everyone's saying you're 38 years old, you can't come back from a torn Achilles, and he's like, bet.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
wants to prove everybody wrong and then go out with the worst season he had his whole entire career, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Same with Jordan and everybody. Like, I'm like, man, like, you guys are, like, on top, but I guess we'll never really understand, like, how it really feels to be, like, the best of something, and people are now saying you should retire, you know? It's crazy to be in those shoes and just be like, no, I got 2 more years. Let me play for the Bucks, you know? Let me do it. See?
Yep.
I proved you wrong. I won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So more back into the season, because that was gonna be my last question. We also had one of the coldest games on record in Kansas. Jesus.
Yeah.
It was freezing. I don't know how anybody sat out there and was fine.
Like, a lot of people got hospitalized and things.
How cold was it?
It was -4 technically.
Dang.
With the wind chill, it was -23.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, it was like, I don't even know if I went to work that day or not.
We did a podcast that day.
I remember like that week at work, I did nothing but mess around because, like, it was that cold all week. It was that cold all week. So there was no, I mean, I don't know how high tech Arrowhead is. Like, do they have, I don't know if they have field warmers. I know that they have them built under the field at some places.
Got to, especially if it's
but
that cold.
But the thing about that was it was so cold for so long that it wasn't like it was just cold that night. It had been cold, and so everything outside was cold. Like, those metal seats, like, there was no warming those up or anything like that. Or, like, you know, even walking on the cement in the parking lot, like, the cement is frozen. It's not even, you know, that warm anymore because it's been negative degrees outside for days. Yeah, it was like people got hospitalized, like fans got hospitalized with hypothermia and frostbite, and I'm like, the tickets were like $50 and you could sit like right on the field.
That's crazy.
Couldn't be.
Hell no, not me.
You also had Buffalo with a giant ass snowstorm that they had to delay the game a day and then had to pay people $20 an hour to shovel out the game.
Dang.
Which is insane.
See? That's crazy.
Right?
Game must go on, right?
Game goes on. Also in this round of playoffs, you had Buffalo, Detroit Lions, and the Cleveland Browns. That is insane.
The Browns were in the playoffs?
The Browns were in the playoffs.
I didn't know that.
They were the first game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they got destroyed, just like I predicted them they would. So who at the did you guys do a draft? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't.
You did not. Nard, did you?
I didn't do a draft. I was just trying to get my damn Packers to get past the 49ers.
I thought the beginning of this season was just like like everyone was winning and losing, and it was so kind of like up in the air that it was kind of hard to tell, who was gonna come out on top, really, because like Nard said, everyone was kind of like 9-5,
Mhm.
there wasn't like one team really.
Maybe Miami at first at the
Yeah.
beginning, but I was like, oh shoot, they might be a team that's gonna go
I
all the
really,
way.
I told Stassi before that game, and like even me talked about, I wasn't that confident in our ability to beat Miami. Like I thought that would be the hardest one for us to get past first.
Mhm.
And then when it was that cold, I said, the only way we're gonna win this game is the fact that it is negative 23 degrees
Mhm.
outside,
Yes.
and it ain't never anywhere near that cold in Miami.
Yeah, no
Not
way
ever.
near.
No, and I think that's a good point as well. Like you could have that. That's the beauty that I love about NFL playoffs. It's one game.
Mhm.
One game make or breaks you. You don't have to be the
Mhm.
best team. You just
That's
have to
true.
have the most luck. And I would say who Kansas City played had a lot of injuries.
Mhm.
So, and that also does play a factor. I make it to be honest with you, I do not think Kansas City deserves to be in the final 2 spot. And I, as a
Oh
kid,
no.
no, not even close.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Detroit. And I
Yeah, that would
ended
have
up
been
even
nice.
messaging you. I was like, I really do hope Detroit wins. Um,
Yeah.
watching because I watched all of the game. I watched pretty much all the playoffs. But seeing Detroit win not one but two, breaking history, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
they have not made it past the third round since like the 50s,
Mm.
right?
They've been for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it was just
With one of the greatest players of all time too. That's what's crazy.
yeah.
What, Barry Sanders?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm.
So it was just cool and then like when they won and people were staying in the stadium and just cheering and just crying and watching, like it's just
Mhm.
that to me holds more value
Yeah.
than anything of just seeing a team overcome and endure, being the joke of the league for how many years? Because everyone always says, why does Detroit get to play the Thanksgiving game? They're garbage. Just because they're a legacy team doesn't mean that we should follow through. But this coming season, they fucking earned it, especially with their
Yeah.
new coach.
Oh, yeah.
Now, who do you think is actually going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna have to just keep it NFC. I don't care who. I think it's. I think 40. I hate to say this, but because I have some friends that are 49er fans, and they just gonna love to hear me say this. But I might have to go with the 49ers. But and not only that is, I used to rock with a lot of the 49er players back in the 90s. Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and Steve Young. And Deion Sanders at one point. So I just have a little bit more history with the 49ers than I do with the Chiefs.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Okay.
I think they got potential to beat up on the Swifties.
Tattoo, how about you? Who do you think's going to win?
I obviously want the Chiefs to win. I think that the Chiefs will win. We call it. It's Mahomes magic. I don't know what it like. I don't think that we should be in the Super Bowl, so we're gonna win it. I don't know. I don't like. It's just what was that? Was it the first year that we won when we played them 4 years ago?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
they
4 years ago.
yeah, 4
Yep.
years ago. Yeah, no, we won because I don't know if you guys have seen the conspiracy theory because it's literally
Yeah,
the
that
4 years ago repeating itself, and then the
Yeah.
world ended like literally the following month. So
yeah.
we're like, let's see if history will repeat itself again.
Yeah, it was
So
during the elections and
mhm.
Yeah.
COVID and all that. Yep.
Yep.
I think that that year we're already I'm still beat down from that year. Like the Kansas City Chiefs winning that Super Bowl was the high, and then the rest of
Mhm.
that was just downhill. I mean, I guess I did get married that year, so it was fine. But outside of that, it was just a mess after that. But no, I hope the Chiefs win.
Mhm.
I do think that San Francisco will have a sort of vengeance because of the way that game ended. Like they were up they were up a lot, and then we came back at
Mhm.
the end to win it. So, but they're also, if you don't know, one of the architects of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is like I believe he's a K-State grad.
Mm.
But he is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and he buried a Kansas City Chiefs flag in the dirt under Allegiant Stadium.
Ooh, okay.
That's a true. There's a picture of it. It's a true story.
Amazing.
Wow, that's crazy.
There you go. Got a little luck on their side. My original bracket, because Jason got me to fill out his bracket this year. I thought I had the first seed teams playing against each other, Baltimore versus the San Francisco 49ers. I did think the 49ers were going to win against Baltimore. However, I do think Kansas City will win because they will have Super Bowl experience of going in and understanding the pressure, where I don't think as a Brock Purdy, I don't think
Brock Purdy.
I think he will I think he'll
So
crumble.
cute, isn't he?
He's cute. But again, a Tom Brady
Like,
a Tom Brady experience.
yeah.
Fucking 12, like the last round
True.
pick versus a first round pick.
Yeah.
True.
So I'm very curious to see. Now that we've, we got football and our thoughts out of the way, there's also two other aspects of football that kind of gravitates towards everybody, which would be the halftime show and the commercials. I very much love both. And before I ask you guys what your favorite halftime performance is, I have to make you both feel old for a very quick minute. The Janet Jackson Titty Out was 20 years ago.
20 years ago. I remember where this is like a core memory. I remember where I was. I was in my bedroom. I was reading Charlotte's Web. I was reading and I heard my parents go from the living room, and I ran out to the living room and I said, what happened? Because it was the halftime show. I was like, it wasn't football, so I wasn't interested. Like, I mean, I cared about Justin Timberlake, but I didn't care about Janet Jackson, and I wasn't gonna watch Justin Timberlake without the rest of NSYNC at the time because I just didn't care. So I was like, whatever. So I'm gonna go do my reading for the night, and I'm gonna come back when the game comes back. And then I heard all that, and I came out, and I was like, what happened? And I was like, don't worry about it. And then the halftime performance was over, and I was like, that was only like 5 minutes. And she was like, yeah. And then that was the end of that.
The internet was just like the place at that point, right? It wasn't where it's at now, but it was starting to be where it is now, though. So you can go up and find the news articles and stuff about it at that point, I think.
Yeah. And then after that, we had like really crappy ones, and now they're finding last year I got very emotional. I am a huge Rihanna fan. Like, I love her so much. I am going to take off work for like at least 2 days if she ever comes out with a new album, because I won't be able to do anything else. I'm like a Swiftie in that way. Like, it's been 7 years. We're on year 8. I can't handle it. And so I really thought last year because I said Rihanna's not going to perform at the Super Bowl for no reason. She has something to say. So when she was at I was like, it's a new album. She's announcing something. And then she announced that she was pregnant again. And I was like, dang it. I'm still not getting I'm still not getting another album. I was so sad. I was like, I'm happy for you, but I'm sad for me.
Okay, same. I love Rihanna. She is my fucking anthem to life. And I thought the same thing, like album. And I remember looking, it's like, is she pregnant? No, she's
I saw it instantly. I looked at my husband, I was like, God damn it. And he was like, what's the matter? I said, she's pregnant. He said, how do you know? I said, look at her.
Wasn't she on that big platform too, up in the sky and all that?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I was like, man.
But she just had her son, like under like her son was like 10 months old at the time. So I was like, damn.
No, I know. Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
I kind of like the. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say this year, I think if Lil Jon doesn't come out with Usher, I am gonna be highly upset. That's an icon. That you can't have a 2000s party banger without one of two people, Lil Jon or T-Pain. It just it is what it is.
Yeah, because he had a lot of like good hits with other people in them, so he's got to like bring out some people.
Yeah.
Even Skype R. Kelly in for the one song that he did with him. With like, what's that? Same girl? Yeah.
So Nard, like you've done so well without getting canceled. Why would you?
Oh damn! I pulled that up. No, no. I think that was more of a joke. Y'all knew I was joking when I said R. Kelly. I'm gonna say I actually like the Dr. Dre one from 2 years ago because he brought out like Eminem, he brought out Snoop,
50.
all the OG peeps from the 90s and early 2000s. So I thought that was kind of cool. I have a little cheat sheet here because I can't remember a lot of the other ones. Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, the halftime stuff was like hit or miss for me because a lot of the artists I wouldn't have, other than Prince, I wouldn't have really been too stoked to see them play live. I mean, unless it was, I actually enjoyed the 5 minutes of the Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, but until that happened, but so
Right.
trying to think of some other ones.
I'll give you my three, which Rihanna, which unfortunately is still number three. It didn't cry. Number one is Lady Gaga. She fucking killed it. It was so good. Number two, The Weeknd. Well, I watched that Super Bowl.
I love no, Stassi, don't do that. I love The Weeknd. I have been a Weeknd fan for like over 10 years now. Like I love The Weeknd. I did not like that set because he played. I am a trilogy person. Like the mix that he came out with originally and the trilogy are my favorite, and there was like none of that. And everyone was like, he's terrible. What is it? I was like, because he didn't play any of the stuff that he's known for. And that's good. Like, I don't know. Fair. I love The Weeknd. I just didn't like that set.
Okay. He did play House of Balloons, though. So slightly.
Yes. Yeah. I love The Morning. I love Wicked Games. I love but those I understand. Maybe those are not family friendly songs that we can sing in the audience. But like, I don't know. That's the week I prefer to listen to, and that's just not what we heard.
Okay, I can respect that. I'm a general. I liked it all. I just like that it was because it was COVID times. He was able to like do bigger things because like he didn't need a stage because like the arena was not really being played in.
The theatrics and the stage work, that was amazing. Yes, but the set list that was put together of his songs, I was not crazy about.
That is fair. And then my third would be Rihanna. I think the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen was like Maroon 5 with his shirt off. I'm like, why do we get to see his nipples involuntarily? Fuck him. So do you guys like, I know we talked a little bit, but do you think Usher will be good, or do you think it'll just kind of be like a forgettable one?
I think like I said, I think it depends on who he brings out. Like if he's just up there by himself, I think it'll be forgettable.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's gonna come with some good guests because it's just like Dr. Dre. While we knew he's gonna have to bring out basically his whole discography of artists he's worked with, and with Usher, he's got to bring out all his party bangers, he can't just come out here and do new stuff like some unknown stuff. He's got to come out and do like Confessions, or even that song. I don't feel like it's Super Bowl appropriate because it's like you want something upbeat, right? Like you want his upbeat classic tunes with like T-Pain and all them. So he's got to bring out some artists. I think he'll be all right. I don't know if it'll be top 3 material, but I think it'll be like, oh, that was cool. Depending on how his stage performance is and the setup, the set design. I think with Rihanna, even though I do rock with Rihanna, I think what I got out of it was her stage setup. She was all up on like the apparatus up on the in the air. I thought, oh, that was crazy. I was like, man, that's crazy. I hope she's secure up there.
And the fake welcome wagon running towards her, which I can't unsee. Thanks, Simmers.
Oh, that's right. Someone was quick with that.
Yeah,
I gotta be quick with this. I gotta do some Super Bowl related sim stuff before someone gets a hold of it.
100%.
Talking about it.
Like I was still at the bar I was at, and I had people sending it to me. I'm like, this happened 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
amazing.
People were on it.
And again, Super Bowl commercials. I love Super Bowl commercials, and it's hard for Canadians. We don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
We have to wait till YouTube the next day, and then you'll see all the American commercials. It's like an hour's worth of commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any Super Bowl commercials that stick out to you? They're like, ha, it's funny.
I feel
There's so
like
many.
they used to be. They're just not as good anymore. And I don't know why. Because I feel
Right.
like people should just save their entire marketing budget
Mhm.
for one Super Bowl commercial, because nobody really watches syndicated TV anymore. I could be wrong. But I haven't watched ABC, NBC, or CBS in many years because I just don't think it's worth my time. So like, if do something that's funny. I just think the
Mhm.
last few years haven't been like, I remember like the E-Trade baby ones and like the Doritos
Yes.
commercial, like back in the earlier mid 2000s, that like everyone thought were hilarious. Like they brought the E-Trade baby back like last year or the year before or something, but it just was like like I don't know. It's I guess we're missing original stuff. It's just not, I don't know. They haven't hit the same the last few years as they've hit
That's
when we were
fair. For me, as a movie lover, that is when they release trailers for the first time, or TV show
Mhm.
trailers. So I'm expecting a House of the Dragon trailer, a Last of Us season 2 trailer,
Ooh.
and kind of stuff like that. That's what I fucking live for. Are the movie trailers that and the TV trailers that come with those spots. I guess a second close one was when they did the Breaking Bad reunion, because I just love Bryan Cranston and everything he does. So he can do
Oh,
whatever he
he's
needs.
amazing.
He's amazing. And oh my God, what's Aaron Paul?
Yeah,
Mhm.
bro.
He can do whatever. Anytime they're together, it just makes magic. And the fact that like we had like a Heisenberg and say my name for fucking
Mhm.
popcorn or chips, hilarious. I had no notes.
Yeah.
I was like, this one for me.
Yeah.
Nard.
I like the remember back in the day when it was those Bud, Y, Zer, the with the
Yeah.
frogs. I don't know if y'all remember
Yes.
those. Yeah, that's the ones that stood out for me. Was just those simple like Budweiser ones. And then last year, I think it was last year, the Tubi commercial where they made it look like something was wrong with your TV, and it was a Tubi like format or something, like a YouTube. It's like a YouTube platform. I don't know if y'all heard of Tubi or not. But yeah, the Tubi commercial was funny. I thought that really stole the show because it made it look like you were still watching the game, and then it paused or buffered or something, and then it was like, oh, Tubi. Super simple, but it was effective because it somehow they made it look like it was still you were still watching the game, but you weren't. It was because it was part of their commercial. It was really good. I thought it was clever.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys have anything else before I throw our bonus question?
Mm, I think that's all the commercials I think I could think of.
Anything else? Okay.
Mm-mm.
There's one aspect of football we've yet to talk about, and in my opinion is the best part,
Uh-oh.
is when the players announce their names on the primetime games.
Mm.
And obviously there's been many parodies of it. Obviously Key and
And
Peele.
Gil.
Mhm.
I watch that skit more times a year than I like to admit. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. Now I have to ask you this. What would your what would you say? I'm just curious. So like, would you rep the college you went to, the high school you went to, the elementary school you went to, the daycare you went to, fucking Hogwarts, culinary school, anything? I'm just curious. I'm gonna do the most cringy thing ever. Let's all pretend that we are part
Alright.
and we say who we are and what school we went to. And I'm putting you guys this on the spot. You're more than welcome to take a second. I doubt you're like me, who has rehearsed this many times,
Yeah.
who will
Alright.
never play in the NFL. But whenever you are
Alright.
ready,
I think I'm ready.
you Nard, okay?
Alright.
Yep.
Alright, let me see. I gotta figure out what my position would be though. I'm 5'11". I'm about 180. So what would that be? But I'd be like maybe a no, I'm too small for a tight end. In a way, I'll just throw in like quarterback with it. All right.
Okay.
Janari, all right. Janari Sutton, quarterback. Dag. No. Yeah. That'll be mine.
Okay.
Okay, I would go with Tattooed Simmer 22. That's my favorite number. But 22 doesn't correspond with my position though, so that doesn't make any sense. But whenever I played football, I played center. So Tattooed Simmer 22, center, Kansas State University.
Nice.
I like that. I would go Jenny T, quarterback. Glencairn Public School.
Nice. That's a good one.
I'm not telling. I rehearse that again more times a week than I'd like to admit. I just look in the mirror. I'm like, one day I'll get to do. I'll be in the NFL.
I like how you guys went straight to quarterback. I have a very much a Jason Kelsey attitude toward most things in life. Like, I'm gonna show up in what I'm wearing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do my job, and then I'm gonna go home.
Mhm.
Can we just take a minute and just say how amazing he was? Fucking no shirt. That man.
Yeah, I do also like to party occasionally, but yeah.
And he was
He was
shirtless the
wild.
entire time because it would just shoot back, and he was just like sitting there, like questioning his life choice, like jumping into the crowd, being like, yeah, like I love that. I have no notes. Absolutely amazing. Well, I think this is a perfect spot to cap it off. Yay football. It's anyone listening to this and like wants to get into it. It's really fun to watch. I don't know, but you guys, do you watch Red Zone at all?
No.
We don't. Like I said, we work all the time. So like I watch games at work, but I don't have it.
Sunday, 1 p.m. Red Zone is on this house because to me, as someone who had a hard time following it before, it's so much fun just seeing all excitement shit all the time. Yeah. And Scott Hansen is probably one of the best hosts that you could possibly ever have. I hope till one day I get to interview him. That would be a huge dream of mine. Just to host a host. I want to hear like his mindset going into it because he makes every game exciting. And not having him during playoffs suck because I actually have to watch an entire game. I would rather just watch
that little boy at like the media day for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My little heart. Right. He's like, I just wanted to be in sports media because I couldn't play sports because of health conditions. And I was like, stop it. You're too cute. Like, he was so good too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to see that. I'm gonna have to go check that out on the YouTube or something.
Yeah, you should. Yes. It's amazing. Like, he's a very talented little kid. I want to like follow his YouTube channel now just to like see, because I feel like that would be a good place to start if you don't know watching sports, because it's like a little kid talking about sports, you know, like it's he probably can oversimplify it more than I can, but like still it's just like he was adorable. I loved him.
That's cool.
Right. Or you also have the Puppy Bowl, which will be is it today or tomorrow? Puppy Bowl. Same day Super Bowl.
I don't know.
And then the kids stuff, the kids football, the Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
SpongeBob is gonna be performing.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? Again, it's just like
that's
haha
cool.
fun. Well, anyways, thank you both so much for coming here today and indulging in football. There might be 5 people listening to this podcast. We love you. Well, before we wrap up, why don't you tell us about, God damn it, this is how I don't film 6 podcasts a week anymore. Why don't we tell everybody where we can find you? Nard, you go first.
You can find me on all the social platforms at Nardvillain. That is Facebook, Instagram, Nard Sims, TikTok, YouTube, and I think that's it.
And the Draft Wars, which I don't know when will come back, but soon.
So we can go ahead and announce that I'm gonna win this.
That was fun to watch. I loved that.
I will actually be more prepared. Well, because like I figured out what I'm gonna do because I can't build with you guys because
no cheating.
No, I'm just gonna record my screen and then I'm just gonna have that playing while you guys are building, so you can see the hour of me struggling.
Okay.
So, Tat, where can we find you?
I go by Tattooed Simmer everywhere but the gallery. So if you want to download my stuff from the gallery, it's GROALI2234 there. But Tattooed Simmer on Instagram, Twitch. That's where I am mostly. YouTube sometimes.
I
So
love that. Well, thank you both for coming here today,
Stas.
sharing your football knowledge.
Stas, where can we find you?
Well, you could find me anywhere. You could find me at the store. Probably eating chicken nuggets. Definitely on the couch eating popcorn. I have a Peloton class. Just kidding. You guys can find me at Stassi J Sims 4, my podcast page, which is Stassi J Unplugged Podcast. Very exciting. We're starting to actually wrap up season 2, which is fucking incredible. We had the first part of the season finale, which was this week with Danielle Builds. We will pick it up not this week. I have a very special episode coming out on Wednesday, Love Day themed. So please stay tuned for that. The season finale will be the following Wednesday, where I wrap it up, which I thought would be really fun as a roundtable. Because that's why we started this podcast a long time ago, was bringing simmers together, and I thought it would be very fun to wrap it up that way. Also stay tuned to a very also special announcement that I have been working on for the last couple months, which will also be coming out on Love Day. As well, season 3 will be back at some point, but it's a little further down the road. I have a sim story called Rose Chronicles, where I'm actually putting all my time to these days, and I'm having an absolute blast. So please go check out the Rose Chronicles as new episodes come out every Sunday. No longer on Mondays, because Instagram hates Mondays, but loves Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. for some unknown reason. Don't know why. So please check that out. Yeah. And please go check out Tattooed and Nard. Two of the best simmers out there. So everyone, have a great rest of your day. Happy Superball Sunday. I hope at this point you're heading out to eat some chicken wings and some beer, or tailgating or whatever, or you're listening to this because you're a hardcore dedicated fan and being like, what is American football? So please, please, please enjoy and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Dag.